Let's get ready to rumble!
Benzinga Nation, jam-packed show today. Peloton up 5%.
What's up, disciplined investor?
We got Benzinga CEO Jason Raznick here with us.
The man, the myth, the legend, Tom Nash.
Peter Schiff on the Power Hour with us live today.
Interesting, different, unique, innovative companies.
Mia, you are live with us on the Power Hour. What's up?
Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Jessica Billingsley, that is the CEO of Akerna.
The best trade idea resource out there. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We are back at it. I'm back after a little bit of a hiatus. Still a little sick, but I'm gonna push through for the first 30 minutes or so today. Jam-packed schedule as always.
Luke. I think we might be having some trouble with your mic.
You can't hear me?
I don't know. Hey, viewers out there, throw a 1 in the chat if you can hear Luke.
Check.
Throw a 2 if it's just my audio setup.
You can hear me? I'm just quiet. Let's try this. Better. This one. Cool, you're good. All right, how about now? No? No cigar producer, AB? How's that looking?
We're going to get these audio issues figured out for you, Zinger Nation.
Nope, still can't
let us know in the
me.
chat what you are trading today, what you are looking at. Christian said he can hear him good. All right.
Better. But producer AB still can't hear?
Oh, I know his problem. You're fine.
All right, I'm fine. Woo! I was just got confirmation that I am fine and it's producer AB's fault. So now I'm going to be the one to ask. Drop your tickers in the chat. We will have some time to look at them, guys. So on our radar, on our agenda for today, let me walk you through it. This is the Power Hour. This is the Trade Idea Show. The reason why we spend this time together every single day is to get the idea flow cooking. I'm going to open us up strong, okay? I've been on a little bit of a break. I'm going to go straight into a stock buy. I've got one that I want to add to the portfolio. I've wanted to add it for a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to do that. At 12:10, we're going to be hearing from our good friends at Investor. Make a pretty interesting market app. So we're going to be hearing from them in just a few minutes from now. And then 12:30, Pressure BioSciences, ticker PBIO, public company CEO, joining us on the Power Hour, the one that you have not heard from yet. So I'm dropping the air horns and let's just get rolling through this thing. All right. First things first. And we're going to get to tickers out of the chat in just a second here. I see Wish on the list. But first things first, I want to add a stock to the portfolio. It is a pre-merger SPAC, ticker NSTV, November Sandy Tango Bravo, NSTB. Again, pre-merger SPAC. What this company is they are merging with Apex Clearing. Okay, I'm going to throw this one out to the group. If you guys know Apex Clearing, you know what this company that does, drop me the 1 in the chat. If not, drop me the 2. I suspect that it's one that not a ton of folks are familiar with. And for everybody who's just joining us, we're starting off the Power Hour strong today, guys. We're going straight into a stock pick in the live brokerage account. The ticker is going to be NSTB. Basically, Apex Clearing is the thing behind the thing for the brokerage space. Okay, thing behind the thing for all these new age brokerages. When you think about your Robinhoods, your Weebles, your Does, your Publics, right? Basically what their business is they're creating the interface for you to be able to trade on, plus doing the marketing and providing the data and the tools for you to have your investing experience. Apex Clearing is the company that's actually making the connection from that trading interface over to the market, right? So when you place your order on your Webull, as an example, Apex Clearing is the firm that's actually connecting your order over to the market. Here's why I think this one is interesting, and here's why I think it's interesting now. One, is Apex is the thing behind the thing. It's what's powering a lot of these brokerages. If you think that sort of these new age, these mobile first brokerages are here to stay, which we at Benzinga generally do, you've got some locked in revenue and some locked in customers right there. Item number 2, they also support crypto. Okay, if we look back at this Q2 quarter, and we're going to start getting a lot of these Q2 numbers, this trading activity, etc., think of what happened in crypto over that time period, right? We're talking about the period, let's call it April through June. That's when Bitcoin got up to 60K. That's when we saw Dogecoin go crazy. Apex participates in that market. Again, it's what's powering a lot of the crypto trading for these new age brokerages, and so you have that happening, and then item number 3. I see Jason hopping on with us. Wants to hear this Apex clearing pick. But item number 3 that we have is we have the Robinhood IPO, which is going to drive energy into the space. I own Tiger Brokers to try to take off on that Robinhood IPO catalyst. I think that when you have the opportunity to buy Apex, again, it's a pre-merger SPAC for less than $10 a share. To hit it, I'm going to be adding it to the live portfolio in just a second here. Again, it's a thing behind the thing play for the new age brokerages. The quarter that we just got out of was a crazy crypto quarter. They did participate in that, and so the numbers from their Q2, they gave us a prelim report, looks strong. Once we get the full report and we see the trading volume, I think that they are going to be monstrous. Jason, any opinions on our Apex clearing?
I like Apex clearing. I like it a lot. I like it as much as 198, 207 people here. How about everyone hit the like? Because I think we bring the CO Apex clearing on either this week or next week. What do you think?
I am all about it. Because then I can push into my points, right? My thesis for getting into the stock now is, one, the SPAC got killed when we saw all the energy fly out of SPACs, right? It's trading below $10. You have the crypto exposure, right? They enable crypto trading for a lot of these neo brokerages. We also have the Robinhood IPO coming up.
So Luke, this is NSTB.
NSTB.
Let me check this out. So this is the Apex SPAC.
This is the Apex SPAC, correct?
Can you trade options on SPACs or no?
I don't know if they have an option chain. They might. Let's check it out. NSTB.
All right, Luke. I just bought shares, Luke.
Yep, there are options on this one.
All right, Luke. I just bought shares of it.
Boom. Load it up. You're in.
I guess I could have done it live on the show and showing it. I bought 1,000 shares. Started off.
Hell yeah.
1,000 shares. So money where your mouth is, you know. Yeah, I'll get Bill Capuzzi on. By the way,
about to hit it too.
Are you still holding your spot to buy NST it as well?
Boom, I'm in.
Yep,
Filled.
I'm in at the same price as you.
Look at that. Look at us twins. All right, let's throw this one out to the chat. If you guys like the Apex clearing pick, drop me the 1. If not, drop me the 2 again. My catalysts are the crazy crypto quarter. Their numbers should be monstrous. You have the Robinhood IPO, and then, of course, it is a thing behind the thing trade.
Wait, 22 likes, and there's 220 people here. That's crazy. Here, let me get the Apex CO. Maybe we can get a moving on today.
Boom, there we go.
Yeah. So
hey guys, if you don't know what Jason's talking about with the likes, let me help you out here. On your YouTube, you have this button. It looks like a thumb. You know, here's my thumb, okay? It's probably gray. Unless you're one of the top 27 viewers, it's probably gray. Click it. It'll turn blue. It will give you a sense of fulfillment in your life. It'll give us a sense of fulfillment in our lives, and you can check off your good deed for the day.
Okay. Let's see if that worked, Luke. Let's see. Okay. You're at 44. Okay, cool. So, Luke, that's a trade you're making right now. And how long do you think you'll own it for?
I wanna hold it through the Q2 numbers. So we should get a nice full earnings report, even though it is a pre-merger SPAC. So I want to see these monstrous crypto numbers come out for Q2. Then I also want to see if the Robinhood IPO helps. So I'm going to call it 4-ish weeks.
4-ish weeks. Okay, so I'll go with that. 4-ish weeks. I'm in that. So I sometimes will buy in 3 increments. If I see this get down to 9.95, I think I'm gonna buy a little more.
And you asked about the options, Jason. They are very cheap. So if you wanted to go 129 days out, so what is that? That's like 4 months out. You can buy the $10 strike options. The calls are only 50 cents, maybe $1, I guess, is the last trade on them.
Should I buy some?
Yeah, actually, these are pretty cheap.
Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow to buy them.
All right, fine. It'll give us more to look at tomorrow.
Wait, hold on. The guy said, are we buying NSTB or Apex Clearing? Are you sure it did convert, Luke?
I am fairly positive.
I thought it did.
So I was looking at this press release from July 6th. At least at July 6th, it was pre-merger. That was my indication. So unless it converted within the past 5 days.
Type into your thing. Type into your thing, Apex Clearing.
Nope, no Apex Clearing yet.
Okay, so Gary Frost, I'm not sure what you're referring to then.
There is a company called Apex Acquisition, which is distinctly different from Apex Clearing. I don't know if that's what he's looking at, but that is one that actually tripped. I saw a couple of emails come into Benzinga because I saw a couple of our readers get tripped up on that one.
Okay, got it. Here, can I share my screen for a sec, Luke?
Yep, take it over, and then we're going to go over to our friends from Investor in a few minutes here.
Okay, so I want to say our Upwork, I've traded different times, whatever. I bought it at $15 originally. We're up 75%. It's over 60 today. I know I'm not in Fiverr. I used to be. Over 60 today. I gave you guys Upwork at, let's see.
And we made an all-time high in the stock earlier today.
And exactly. And Upwork was one. See, I have high conviction trades, medium conviction trades, and low conviction trades. Upwork was one of my very, 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 very high conviction trades, as you guys recall. Okay. And here are my trades on Upwork. We'll go to the next page. I bought it a lot. Okay. So I originally bought Upwork at $15. We're at $60. Then I bought it at $14. Then I bought it at $14. Then I sold. Then I bought it again at 18. Sell, then buy again at 19. Then let's go.
Whew.
And then
this is a beautiful screen that E-Trade gives you where you just can see all the transactions.
And then here are my call options I made a ton of money on. Then I sold at 325, but then I'm like, I'm getting out too early. So I bought again at 45. You'll see I bought another 150 shares. 43, it went to 37. I swear I bought more shares. I swear I bought.
And you bought this thing all the way up.
Hold on, but I bought. Yeah, I kept buying. Yeah, I bought. And then I did some sells, but then I bought again. Bought 200, 150, 30. I thought I bought more. Thought I had one more buy. But yeah, I kept buying. 250 there at 42. So I started at 15. Now, see, that's a difference, Luke. On my Tesla positions, I did not do that, sir. I did not. So if we look at Tesla, Lukey, I bought Tesla very low. You'll see. Hold on. Let me show you this. I wonder how far back it goes, Tesla, far back you can go on this thing. But I don't know how far back it goes, but I bought Tesla when I was.
You're way back on Tesla. We're looking at 2014. It looks like.
But to your point, I bought Upwork all the way up. I didn't buy Tesla all the way up. I bought it very cheap, and then I didn't buy more like I should have because I liked seeing my big gain, Luke. Do you know what I mean? I liked seeing because I bought Tesla at $18, right? And so so it doesn't go far back enough. I bought Tesla at $18.
I blame Spencer Israel.
No, you know what that is? That is me not acting like so when I play blackjack, Luke, see, I want the stock market to me is blackjack, Luke. Okay? And what I mean by that is my dad gave me rules. When you have a 16, the dealer is a 10, you hit. When you have a 10, the dealer shows a 5, you double down. If you have a 12 and the dealer shows a 5, you don't hit. We call them daddy rules. So when it comes to the stock market, I need to play daddy rules, meaning it doesn't matter. So I bought Tesla at $18. Well, I actually bought it at 38, but then I had a split. So 5-for-1 split. So I bought it even less, okay? Below $10, all right? And so I didn't buy more shares when it went to 75. Hold on, closing the door. Oh, sorry guys. When it went to 75, I actually thought I bought 100 more shares at 38, and I was mad because I'm like, oh my God, I only had 100 shares. I thought I had 200 shares. That extra 100 shares cost me, by not buying it, $400,000.
And let me ask you this. So when you bought Tesla below $10 a share, I mean, that's before anybody had seen a Tesla vehicle on the streets. We obviously had Elon Musk with the PayPal experience. This is way back, right? Like why did you buy the stock then? Like, what made you the believer in Tesla? I mean, everybody was a Tesla hater then. Like the IPO was almost a joke, you know?
So I didn't buy Tesla before I went to Tesla. I bought Tesla at $38. This is before it split 5-for-1. There's a guy, Joel Zertes, who was driving in Birmingham. I went in the car on a Friday or Saturday. We were in Birmingham. On Monday, I went and bought the shares. I bought 100. For some reason, I thought I bought 200. Like a month later, I looked in the stock, or 2-3 months later, I looked and I only had 100 shares, and I thought I had 200. And it was at 70. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, 70 pre-split, which means like 20, right? And so I didn't go buy the extra 100 shares. When you look at Upwork, I bought Upwork as it moved up. With Tesla, I loved seeing my 1,000% gain. I love seeing that percentage gain. When if you think about it, Danny Rules would tell you, it doesn't matter what your percentage gain in. That's just ego. What matters is your absolute dollars. So if your account starts at $100,000 and you buy more shares, it goes to 150,000, it goes up. That's what matters. The percentage gain doesn't mean shit. That was hard for me to understand. I liked seeing that percentage gain. I even got so crazy, Luke, that I bought Tesla in another account, so my dollar percentage gain looked bigger.
That was going to be my suggestion, was maybe you just need to open a second brokerage.
Yeah, so it was more, but that's stupid. And so when Tesla, think about it. I spent $3,800 on my 100 shares, Luke, and that's like at $400,000 now. Imagine if I would have put, 38,000 would have been at, 4 million. I mean, it's crazy. How'd I know about Tesla? The guy Joel drove it in Birmingham, and I got in the car, and it was unreal. And then then here's what happened, Luke. I went to Florida about 4 or 5 years ago, and I read the book by Ashley Vance, which we need to have Ashley Vance on the show. Is Aaron Bree here?
Yep, AB is going to be taking over at 12.
Aaron Bree, please write down the name Ashley Vance, Ashlee. It's a guy. He wrote an unauthorized book on Elon Musk, but then Elon Musk did some interviews. I read the book during Christmas vacation, Luke, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. And
from then on, I was like, okay, I got to own as much Tesla as I can. If you read that book, there's no way you don't own more Tesla. Like anyone listening to this thing right now, if you guys read this book by Ashley Vance about Elon Musk, you will say this is the biggest badass there is. And it's something that I aspire to be. And I actually should read the book again, because what he did, Luke, was they wouldn't let him fly spaceships up to space. They wouldn't let him do rocket launches. They were literally blackballing him everywhere. He had to go in the middle of the night to let off rockets. And then the places didn't even have ability to do rockets, and it would be hailing, and they had to sneak in. And and then he's sitting there saying, why are these morons lighting these rockets to the sky and let the rockets just die, and you waste $20 million? He's like, our rockets are going to come right back, and it was just crazy. This book showed me that anything can be accomplished as long as you set your mind to it. Anything. Anything. If we want Benzinga to be bigger than Yahoo Finance, it can be, if we take that Elon Musk mentality. But you need to get you need to have a team that believes in the mission as well. That's why Benzinga, a lot of our most recent hires came from the shows, because we're on a mission to change finance. But that mentality that Elon Musk had in this book, Ashley Vance, it made me buy more shares. Not enough, but it was the most impactful book I've ever read in my life. So,
all right, so we got to add that one to the reading
Yeah,
list.
please bring him on. Okay, I also gave you another big name to come on. I don't know if you got him yet. I'm gonna start bringing on some of these other names, but I know we have some guests coming on. But that's my story. Okay, we have 252 here. Only I
Did
kept
my
to
leg
that.
trick work? We got up to 63. Not great. Pretty
Yeah.
poor, I'd say.
Hey, share with your social. Share with your social. Hey, why aren't we seeing on YouTube? Why isn't the Benzinga logo in the top right corner like it's always supposed to be? Is Aaron Bree really working?
I don't know.
Now
Maybe.
it is.
What
Yeah,
do you have to say?
he doesn't put it up there, and that's what causes problems. People don't know where
There
they're
it
seeing
is.
this. You know, so yeah.
But all right,
Yeah,
I'm
good
going to go
idea.
ahead and
Hey,
bring our
look what-
first...
Hey, before you bring the guys down, look what Internet Enforcer said.
All right, hold on.
Please look at it. You know I love this guy, Luke.
Yep.
He thinks I hate him, but you know I love him. Like people don't get me.
Yep.
I love him. Just wish you would like get in and do like. How good of an idea is that, Luke?
It's great. Yes.
He's right.
We just need to do it.
You just need to do it. Everything is what we need to do. Here's the idea.
One-time job, used forever.
What do you say? One-time job that's used forever. Internet Enforcers is thinking. There's a blog. It used to be called Choose Thinking. Internet Enforcers thinks, and that's good. So one-time job. Bree, get with Internet Enforcers. Make that graphic he's talking about. And then Tony said, you guys should have a banner saying Power Hour. I would think so, too. People don't know it's called the Power Hour. These are all things that we should have.
Great idea show. You just had two of us make live trades in the first 10 minutes of this.
Yeah,
thing.
we bought
Come
this
on.
NSTB. And then I messaged the CEO of Apex. I asked if he wants to come on later this week or next week. I would assume I'll get a response back pretty shortly. He does respond back. When you're a CEO of a company, you're usually on it and you respond back pretty quickly. But all right. He spelled my oh my God. Internet Enforcer spelled my last name with an S. Mofo. It's okay. I'm not that mad actually this time. It's better than Ronak. All right, Luke. That's enough. Aaron Bree. So we just gave you those things, the Internet Enforcers, the idea, and then also Tony's. So my suggestion is write it down on a list so you get it done, okay? Aaron, are you there? He's not even listening.
I'm
struggling.
I'm in the test studio with our 12:30 guests, just making sure we have everything set up.
But Aaron, did you hear all this?
I heard my name being called, so I'm going to go back and have to watch it.
Yeah, but get with Internet Enforcers on the graphic for the like button. And then Tony said we should have a banner saying Power Hour on the show and some other stuff. These things can be created one time and they're there forever. So put this on a list for yourself. And by the end of, like today or tomorrow, we want those done. Okay. Put it on a list so you don't forget. And then Luke, one big thing, Bill Big D mentioned, remember when lumber was up over 100% for the year? Now down 8%. I think down 8%, he's saying. So that's quite a shift. Home building, though, is still tough. You can't get a lot of parts and all the stuff, but that's quite a shift, Luke.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke.
I need to look at how my gold position is doing.
Luke, do you know where my mouse is?
Your mouse?
Yeah.
Somewhere around your desk.
No, because I remember we took it to. You think so?
Where would we have taken it to?
I don't know, but I'm missing it, and I really want my mouse. Okay, and Luke, there was one thing that you called. Did you call me to see what time I should come on the show? What were you calling about?
I was calling to tell you I've got the first half hour, and then AB's taking over after.
Okay.
But you just joined us, which was nice.
Yeah. Cameron Platts. Sorry, we do the behind the scenes on the front surf. So, and Cal, I would love for that, man. It's execution. Okay. All right, Luke, you got your interview. Hey guys, hit those likes a couple more times, and we'll get to a decent number. We're at 74. So
Boom.
Let's go. By the way,
We're about to bring on Nora Lee from Investor, and then 12:30 Eastern. Public Company CEO PBIO will be joining us on the.
Oh, really?
Hour. Yep.
That's a big one.
Let's hit it.
All right.
Hello, Nora. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Luke, and it's Nora Lee. I'm from Texas, so it's a two-word first name.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got it wrong for like the past 20 minutes. You must have been dying on the inside. Nora Lee.
problem.
All right, we got it
No
now.
problem.
For next time, we'll have it down. Okay. My apologies.
I enjoyed watching earlier. And Apex is actually our clearing broker that we use. So I must say I'm a big fan of Apex.
Okay, okay. So you're a customer. Your firm is a customer of Apex. Very, very timely. How do you like your experience with them?
I must say fantastic. They're based in Texas as well, which is great. I'm based in London, but it makes it easy when I go down to Texas. And their parent company, Peak 6, is actually an investor in Investor.
Okay, there we
So
go.
it's a very strategic partnership. But they're the ones who took Robinhood to 6 million before Robinhood decided to do it on their own. But we're working with them and we're very happy.
Okay. And let me ask this one too. One of the things that I like about an Apex is that I imagine once you build all the infrastructure around them to be able to execute trades and manage the clearing process, their customers are going to be relatively locked in. Is that the case? Nobody wants to rebuild that infrastructure. You'd rather spend the energy on providing more utility to the end user. Is that fair to say?
I agree. I think what you want is the operational leverage that it gives you, and then you focus on the customer experience.
Okay. All right. There we go. Boom. Look at that timing.
Great timing. Great time to be talking about Apex.
Excellent. So, all right, I guess, but before we hop into it, and I did a very poor job of the intro, and that I didn't give one, and I got your name wrong. But why don't you just start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and also Investor?
Sure. Let me start by telling you a little bit about myself. My background is actually in trading. I used to be a trader, started off the CBOT, 30-year bond options, moved on to global equity prop trading. So I love the markets, then ended up in my own advisory role, very involved with startups, and then got involved with Investor. I'm the chief marketing officer of Investor. And Investor is a very unique app. And I don't know if you're familiar with Investor at all.
I've played around. I'm not a customer yet, but I've dabbled.
Okay, well, you'll be a customer after today. So Investor is known as really the #1 financial education app that's out there. We started with a fantasy finance game where users can use $1 million of virtual money to create a portfolio. It's all real-time data, so you can know how you're doing. You can learn the markets without risking a single dollar of your own money until you feel comfortable enough to go out and invest for yourself. We also have Investor Academy, which has 10 different modules that teaches you the basics of economics, of investing, momentum, technical analysis. And we've had over 70,000 people go through the Academy. And we've also got monthly prizes that you can win in what we call our Fantasy Finance Leagues, our IFL. And we've had over 1 million people download Investor. And most recently, we just launched our transactional piece of the business where you can actually invest your real money. And what's unique about it on our Investor Plus product is you've got banking paired with a debit card, paired with your brokerage account, paired with crypto trading that's all custodied at the bank. Our banking partner is Vast Bank. And Coinbase provides all of our liquidity on the crypto side. It's available in all 50 US states. So it's quite a unique product where you can do everything in one place. So you've got the fantasy finance where you can try out new ideas, practice, learn, do the academy. We've got a social feed where you can be chatting with other users, hear what they're saying. You can create your own leagues. Like we've got an investment club throughout high schools in the US called the Cash Club. They've got all their leagues set up there. They compete against each other. It can also be used by teachers. We've got teachers who use it to actually teach in a very engaging way. But then you can invest and manage your money, do transfers to friends on Investor, and buy crypto all in one place.
Okay, so let me make sure. I'm the slow down guy on the show. I always slow everything down.
Slow
so let me make
down.
sure I got it right.
I'm the one who speed up.
Okay, so it's basically the education first in investing experience that
Yes.
also has the banking component tied into it. Is that fair to say?
It's the education first that has the financial platform tied in. Yes, with your bank, your broker, your crypto account, all in one place. And we're big believers that the things that are lacking right now is financial education. We think you should be investing when you're young, you should be investing for life, but you should also have the confidence and the knowledge to know what you're doing. And that's what makes us quite unique. Besides the fact that we built some tools, so we've got an Investor Pro product, which gives you all the statistical tools to know about your performance, your endurance. Are you getting better? So sort of like you have on your health app on your phone, you see sort of this rainbow here, your score, your investor score of 70. You can see how you're doing if you're improving. So the more you practice, cool. Or the more you
how does that scoring work? Like the investor scoring work?
So it's all dependent on your diversification, your stamina, your experience in terms of the amount of instruments that you've actually invested in. And so the longer you're on the app, the more you're investing, the more you're able to go through different periods, the better it's going to get. Just like with health, you're going to increase your endurance the longer you're working out, the longer you're focusing on your fitness. So it's something that we want for long-term habits, for people to learn to think that way. We also have your Sharpe ratio. I know people are only used to thinking about, oh, I made this amount of money, but how much risk did you take to make that amount of money? Like one of the basics you should know is, for every dollar of risk you're taking, you should be making at least $1, if not more. And if you're making $1.50 for every dollar of risk, you've got a really good Sharpe ratio. But we've got young kids in high school on the app that are just superstars. I'm so impressed with these kids that know as much about the markets as a lot of seasoned professionals that I know, because they're quite aggressive with learning, doing the research, using all the statistical analysis tools that we have available in the app. And they understand all these technical terms, so they think about risk when they're making investments. Not just, oh, okay, I bought Dogecoin and I made, 800%.
Yeah, that was not me in high school. I definitely blew up some accounts. Blew up a few accounts in high school, yep.
Yeah, I know. I
after
never
patent trolls, buying penny stocks. But yeah, the risk I was taking on was pretty high.
No, and that's the thing, is we want people to be investing for the long haul. There should be a certain amount you're thinking with a long-term view, but then maybe there's a more active piece to that portfolio. I mean, as you know, we've got the greatest transfer of wealth that is happening, over the next 10 years. Almost about 70 trillion that will be transferred from the baby boomers to the next generations. And what we're seeing in this younger generation is they want self-directed investing, as you know. 85% of people that are millennials or Gen Z trust themselves. They don't trust the experts anymore. So we're in a new world where people want the tools so that they can manage their investments themselves. They can make the decisions, and they're all pretty clever is what we're seeing on Investor.
Okay. And I want to ask you one more question. So you said you've gotten 1 million downloads, which is monstrous. Like if we think about the U.S. population is roughly 300 million. You throw out the really young people, the really old people. Let's say we have a 200 million, addressable market. You got 0.5% of that, which is, again, monstrous. Tell us a little bit about that journey. Like how did you get 1 million people to want to download the app?
I think our digital marketing campaigns, our head of growth is amazing, and through digital marketing and also through articles that have been written about us through Forbes, Wall Street Journal. We were actually just written about in
Benzinga.
We were termed the anti-Robin Hood because they said Investor is really an authentic app that wants to teach you about the markets, wants you to really grow. And it's not just about how much money can we make off of you.
All right. And don't forget about the Benzinga articles too.
Oh no, well, we love Benzinga. So that one of the great things about the app is in our feed, you can look at just news and all the Benzinga articles that are going through. You can look at the posts that are going through. So I go through in the morning, I see the daily news. I'll read an article on Benzinga, on stocks that are moving. I'll share that post within my own feed, and all my followers will read that. So yes, it's very powerful, the news feed that we have. And Benzinga has been a great partner of ours as well.
Awesome. Well, Norley, I appreciate you joining us today, telling us about Investor and your journey with it. Whenever you have updates, we would love to have you back. If there are competitions we should know about, new education we should know about, please come back and let us know.
I do have a competition I want to tell you about.
Okay,
for
let's hear
July.
it.
We have Financial Independence Month. We've termed July. So we're doing $1 million giveaway. So anyone who's on the app is automatically in fantasy finance. And at the end of the month, people who are ranked from the top all the way down to 100,000, you will win anywhere from $2,500 down to $10 that you can claim on your Investor Plus account when you fund it. So that's the competition we're running this month. We want to run something similar every month because we believe in educating people to invest, and it's going to make us excited to get more people involved in the markets.
Perfect. There it is. So guys, check it out. We're going to make it 1 million in 1 downloads at least. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Luke.
All right. Thank you, Norley. Appreciate you coming on.
Bye.
All right, guys. How about that one? This is the Power Hour. This is the Trade Idea Show. We are still flying, guys. We made some live trades. We talked about the NSTB. We talked about the Upwork. We talked about the Tesla. We got a word in from Investor. Now we're about to kick it over to a public company. I'm going to bring on my good friend and colleague, producer AB.
What's
going
on,
on, sir?
Mr. Luke? I'm good. How you doing?
And you have a big interview coming up, I understand.
Yes, we're bringing on Rick Schumacher, the CEO of Pressure BioSciences. This is a very interesting biotech company. Something we love to do on this show is bring interesting companies on for exclusive interviews. The company just had news come out today, so we'll be able to discuss that, as well as, just an overview of what the company is doing. But yeah, Luke, I'm really excited for it.
All right. Well, I am going to let you take it away, sir.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead without further ado and introduce my friend, Mr. Schumacher. Hello, Mr. Schumacher, the CEO of Pressure BioSciences. Thank you for joining us on your busy Tuesday afternoon.
It is very busy, and somewhat thanks to you guys. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys do, and all that Jason and his entire team have done for small cap companies like us. We need to have a voice, and you give us a voice. So we really appreciate what you've done over the last decade. Thank you.
Yeah, we here at Benzinga, we try to, do our best to represent the retail investor. And we know that a lot of times the retail investor gets overlooked in this industry by institutional investors, and people, companies primarily are more concerned with the institutional investors than the retail investors. So we try to, fill that gap.
And you do it well. Thank you.
Thank you. So the ticker for Pressure BioSciences is PBIO. I got it up on the screen. So Rick, real quick, can we just go over a brief overview of what the company is, how it started, and what the mission is really?
Sure. We are a developer and supplier of instruments, consumables, and specialty testing services. We supply these to the biotech, the pharmaceutical, the cosmetics, the food and beverage industry all over the world. Our instruments and consumables are all based on the use of very high pressure. We're the only company that's come out with the ability to bring pressures that are greater 3 or 4 times better or higher than the pressure at the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Imagine 7 miles of ocean on us, and we'd have about 15,000 PSI. Our instruments are basically pressure chambers. Pressure is an amazing force of nature. It moves at the speed of sound. It can do many of the things that I, as a scientist, did for many years in the laboratory by using temperature, heat, and cold, and by using chemicals. I can now do it using pressure, And the interesting thing about pressure is we can turn it on and off like a light switch. I can't do that with heat. I have to heat things up. I have to cool them down when they're done. When I put chemicals in, I have to take the chemicals many times out. But with pressure, I put it on, I do my experiment, and I take it off. It's just an amazing force of nature. And it really hasn't been used that much, Aaron, for up to now, because no one until we came along figured out how to safely bring very high pressures that are around 45,000 to 60,000 pounds per square inch into the laboratory in a very, very safe and controllable manner. So that's what we do at Pressure BioSciences.
Got it. Yeah, and it's very fascinating. I know we've had a discussion basically based on what these what the pressure allows scientists to be able to do. And so before we get into the news that came out today, how could what you guys are doing at Pressure Bio, how can it help with things like COVID-19 research? Something that's been so timely over this past year and a half.
Well, I'm a scientist. I'm a virologist. I spent 13 years at a Harvard Medical School laboratory, and I studied back in the 80s. I did a lot of work with hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and then with HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. And when you're in the laboratory and you're working with an infectious material like a virus or bacterium, you need to be very careful. So what we would often do is we would inactivate or kill the virus before we start working on it, but you have to be very careful not to change some of the things that you're going to be looking at. So now with pressure, we could actually take pressure, and in 30 minutes, I can totally inactivate HIV. And then I can work with it very safely. You asked about COVID. We have 3 scientists. We had a press release a couple months ago about 3 groups, one in the US, one in Europe, and one in Asia, all working with COVID-19. All were using our system to break open the virus to get to the RNA that's inside the virus. So all of the good stuff in a virus or bacteria, most of it, let's say, is on the inside. How do you get it? I was taught in the beginning, beat the living heck out of the cell, break it open and get the RNA and the DNA out. When you do that, you can sometimes destroy or change some of the things inside you're trying to study. So what we do, it's like squeezing a sponge. We squeeze the cell with pulses of pressure, and we break the cell. So in the study of COVID-19, it's a matter of breaking the cell to release the RNA that can then be studied.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. And, I know we had news come out today. Before we get to that real quick, I want to go over just real quick what an emulsion is. In layman's terms for our investor audience, how would you describe an emulsion?
I would say when you're having your salad and you pull out that raspberry vinaigrette, that's an emulsion. And if you let it sit there, and it's a very quick settling emulsion, because if you let it sit there for 10 seconds, it'll separate out into different levels. Milk layers. Milk is an emulsion, but milk doesn't settle out that quickly. So emulsions are when you have 2 or more liquids that really don't belong together that you're trying to put together. And so there are what we call macro, micro, and nano emulsions. Everybody, I think, has heard the word nano for quite some time now. Nano basically means very, very small, smaller in many cases than the size of a bacteria. So an emulsion is again, liquids that we're putting together that we're trying to keep together. When I give this example, people get it very quickly. I say, if you're going to have a salad and I hand you raspberry vinaigrette, what do? Everybody, 99 out of 100 say, I shake it like crazy before I put it on my salad, because you want to mix everything up and you hope that puts it on. With the system that we're going to talk about, we believe we could put that vinaigrette through our system and it would come out as one solution. And it would never separate. And the amazing thing about nano emulsions, very small oil droplets in water, nano emulsions, is that in the food area, it often is not only much more stable, but it also can be more flavorful, more colorful, and you can keep the nutritious value of that material by doing a proper nano emulsion.
So yeah, I mean, in the biotech world, throughout the past couple of years, we've been hearing a lot about CBD oil, and of course, oil is not water soluble. That's what this graphic is showing us with the emulsions. So CBD in itself, when it's just in its pure oil state, our body doesn't take it in fully, correct?
Correct. And Aaron, way past that, There's, many products in pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, a lot of vitamins, and a lot of dietary, dietary variants and other things that are taken every day that are emulsions. And if they are oil-based, our body is not going to be absorbing. We don't absorb. We're water-based as human beings. Our animals, our pets are water-based. And if we take something in an oil, your body is trying to rid itself of the oil while at the same time it's trying to pull out the active ingredients, the vitamin, the dietary supplements that are inside that oil. So it's a sort of a battle. But your body's going to excrete that oil and get rid of that oil. And many times they get rid of the oil with much of the active ingredients still in it. There's multiple papers and studies that talk about the fact that maybe those of us who are taking CBD, in many cases, if it's not a good, true nano-emulsion, and there aren't that many that we're aware of on the market, then you're going to end up getting less than 10% of the actual active ingredient, in this case, CBD. Remember, CBD and all of the other cannabinoids come out of the cannabis plant in an oil. It's in plant oil. And a lot of people are putting this plant oil in their foods, in their gummy bears, in their drinks, and they're trying to find ways to make it so that the oil, the CBD oil, is water soluble. What we do is we have a technology that uses pressure, and we combine it with very high pressure and very high shearing. So high pressure and high shearing or cutting, we combine them together. And we're using, we have 6 patents now issued in this technology, 4 of them in the last few months. Very excited about ultra shear technology. Our partner is Ohio State, one of the top food and beverage universities in the world. And what we're doing is we're breaking down the oil by using a combination of very high pressure followed by very intense shearing or cutting. And we're basically breaking down the oil droplet into millions of nano-sized droplets. And we're spreading the active ingredient, in this case, the CBD, into millions of tiny little nano-sized droplets. The body is much better at pulling out and absorbing out the active ingredients when it has so much surface area than if it's one big glob of oil. So that's what we're doing with CBD oil. That's last week we had a press release on astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is really recognized by almost all scientists as the most potent antioxidant on the face of the earth. 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C, more powerful than omega-3, more powerful than vitamin D. But it comes out of the algae in an oil. So again, when we're taking astaxanthin, when we're taking omega-3, when we're taking CBD, it's in an oil. So how do we get oil and water to mix, or oil and beverage, CBD oil and beer to mix? What we do is we break the oil droplet to very, very tiny nanometer size droplets, and that will allow the body to absorb a vast majority of, in this case, the CBD. Now, go ahead. I think you're going to probably ask me about stability, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my next question. I just wanted to recap real quick because, you have a vast medical, scientific background. Not a lot of us investors do. So I just want to make sure I'm getting everything right real quick. So with typical CBD oil, just normal CBD oil, I take it, I'm only getting, you said maybe 10% of it because the oil does not mix well with my water-based body. CBD goes through your system, it becomes as we're seeing in this graphic, infused in the water as opposed to separated from it. And that makes our body more able to break it down and intake more of it. So it seems like, whether it's CBD or the antioxidant astaxanthin, if I'm saying that right, it seems like whatever it is, if we're able to take in more of it, more of the benefits of it, that could have huge impact on the, in the biomedical field.
So imagine if I take Excedrin for a headache and I take 250 milligrams. Imagine if I was only getting 25 milligrams, my headache would never go away. And plus it'd be very difficult to dose. The amazing thing about nano emulsions is that you not only make it much more available and easier for the body to absorb, but you're much more able to dose it, to know if I give 100 milligrams or 50 milligrams, then that's how much the person is going to absorb, not 6%, 10%, 20%, which varies all over the place from different people's bodies. So if we make it water soluble, then we can dose it properly, which is fantastic. And it has two major advantages. First of all, for the manufacturer, we don't have to overcompensate. We don't have to give big horse pills like we do on like omega-3, because you give a big pill so that the body has more time to absorb it out. And so it's less expensive to make, and you put less in. And for the consumer, we don't have to take as much. Think about that in the agrochemical field. Think about the pesticides and herbicides, that many of which are oil-based. If we can break that oil down to smaller particles so it becomes much more absorbable by the plant, then we could use less of it in our pesticides and our herbicides. So we're very excited. The market is very, very large. We're talking to biotech companies. We're talking to biopharma companies. We're talking to nutraceuticals. We've certainly got the beverage covered with our wonderful colleagues and friends at Ohio State University, where we're setting up a consortium for food and beverage companies from all over the world to join and come in. And we're setting up our prototype system in their vast test laboratory. So all of this is happening in real time. We're talking to people. We expect to have our first commercial instrument for ultra shear technology on the market by the end of the year.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And so I have, just thinking about it tangibly. So I have this energy drink right here. So say it was CBD infused with just normal oil. That oil would maybe separate from the drink, or it would have a very short shelf life, correct? Before that.
That is correct. And our news today, so excited about it. We had a goal, which we thought was a lofty goal, to try to get 1 year of rock solid stability in our CBD oil. We're mixing oil and water. We're making the oil droplets so small that, not to get scientific, they're smaller than the wavelength of light. Light goes through. So all of a sudden, a murky solution, when it's a nanoemulsion, becomes very clear. And then you have very, very tiny particles that are much more able to be absorbed. We exceeded our goal. We're at 14 months of stability now, where the CBD oil that we put into the water 14 months ago is exactly the same as it was now as it was 14 months ago. Very excited about that stability. I remember when vitamin water came out, I went out and grabbed and bought a bunch of vitamin water, and 3 days later I had all this white stuff on the sides of the plastic container, and it was just the vitamins precipitating out. That's not going to happen with nanoemulsions, and we don't believe that's going to happen in over a year, if at all, with our system, because we turn it into a nanoemulsion, becomes essentially water soluble. It can be spread throughout the body, through the blood, and therefore it can benefit you much more than a non-nanoemulsion in any type of oil-containing active ingredient, particularly with CBD.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just fascinating. We have, I have the press release pulled up here. Pressure BioSciences UST, which that's the ultra shear technology, enabled nanoemulsions soar past 1 year stability goal. Results open explosive growth potential for water soluble CBD infused beverages worldwide. So I threw the link to the press release in the chat if anyone wants to go check that out. So I got a couple of questions from more the investor side, regarding this. It seems like, someone in the chat threw out a good point about food companies like Coke, Tyson, Pepsi's. They'll pay a lot of money, for this technology to be able to integrate the nanoemulsions into, say, you want to get a CBD Coca-Cola, or you mentioned beer. Do you already have customers like this, like food companies lining up, or how does that work?
No, we don't have them lining up, but we believe we will have them lining up before the end of the year, maybe even before the end of the month or the quarter. Why? Because we announced just a couple of months ago a consortium with Ohio State University. Again, Ohio State has an entire college of food science and environmental science, and they're terrific scientists, and they're known throughout the world for what they've done. They have a very large test lab. I think it's 40 or 50,000 square feet. We're moving our working prototype, within a couple of months to Ohio State, Columbus, Ohio, to set it up in their lab. And then the consortium is open to all food and beverage companies around the world. We think that there'll be 15 or 20 or more companies that will join. There's a fee, but what they get in return is they get first look at our industrial scale nano-emulsion technology called Ultra Shear technology. And so it'll be there. It'll be a working prototype. We think there'll be a number of food and beverage companies that are household names that will join because Ohio State's done it before and they've had household names join the consortium for other things. We got $1 million from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Ohio State did, and we get about 380,000 of that. So it's been helping to support us in developing this amazing technology. So I believe that it could happen next week, next month. But I believe that we will start. We're already talking to companies. Last week, as you mentioned, we had the astaxanthin press release where we were successful in nano-emulsifying astaxanthin, the most powerful antioxidant on the face of the earth. We've had 5 different astaxanthin companies call us in the past week. We had 2 meetings yesterday. We had a couple meetings on Friday with astaxanthin companies who are very, very interested in seeing if they could save money and make it so it's more powerful, and have to give out less and get the same results, if not better, for the customer. So we expect that we will be announcing companies that will be joining the consortium, companies that will be having first right to license to non-exclusively license our technology for their field of use. And that's all happening in real time.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, it seems like I'm just looking at this slide here real quick. Outside of the nano emulsions, just for CBD beverages and stuff like that, there's a lot of other applications that this technology can go to. And one question in the chat that I've seen a couple times, are there any competitors? Is there any competition that's doing similar, things that Pressure Bio is with the nano emulsions?
The competition falls, I'd say, into two categories. The small number, and there's only 2 or 3 that have instruments similar to ours that use a combination of high pressure and high shear. And then there's a much larger group that are in what we call the competitive technologies, homogenizers, blenders, sort of like if you go home and you want to make a drink and you want to pull out the blender for the weekend. We blend things in the lab. The blending will give us a macro emulsion, maybe even a micro emulsion, meaning that the oil is not down to what we call nanometer size, down to under 100 nanometers. Our particles get down to about 30 to 50 nanometers. So they're smaller than a bacteria. They're very small. So the competition is in those 2 groups. We don't worry much about the biggest group, the group that's using homogenizers. Homogenizers are great instruments for certain things, but not to make nanoemulsions. And so when we see someone using a homogenizer, a blender, then we'll just blow them away with a nanoemulsion through Ultra Shear.
Why is that with the blood, the homogenizers? Because they're trying to blend it together without first breaking down the molecules?
Well, they're trying to break it down while they're blending it, and it just doesn't have the ability to break it down to a nano size. It just can't. It has a limitation. My car outside, goes to 80 miles an hour, 90 maybe, but it doesn't go to 130. But there are other guys that pass me on a highway that seem to have cars that go 130. So it has an inherent limitation. Homogenizers cannot make nanoemulsions and true nanoemulsions. And you showed a slide earlier. The same material that's made with a homogenizer, that's so-called water soluble, then we take that material and put it in water, it precipitates out. When we take that material, it's cloudy. When we put it through our system, it becomes clear because now the oil droplets are below 100 nanometers. In our case, we can kind of control it, but in our case, around 30 to 60 nanometers. So that's why. The other group, there are several companies that have done what we've done, but we have 6 issued patents. We have patents in Europe. We have patents, Europe are coming. We have patents in Asia. We have patents in Australia. We have patents we have our first U.S. patent just a couple of months ago for Ultra Shear technology. We also have some things that they don't have. The 2 or 3 companies that are using combination of high pressure and high shear. First of all, we go in our sleep at 45,000 PSI, like 3 times the pressure at the bottom of the Marianas Trench. We have a lot of data at 60,000 PSI. We are experts. My guys are brilliant. I'm just so blessed to have the team I have now. I've started 3 prior companies that all did very well, about $1 billion in market cap combined. This company's technology is as good as any of them. And the people that I have about 8 or 9 people that have been with me for over 10 years. They've really fought the battle, and they're brilliant, hardworking people. And what we've done is to go to 45,000 PSI up to 60,000. We don't know anybody in the world, anybody that has a commercial instrument that can do that. And we also have some other things. Our special valve that shears it is patented. There's nothing like it in the world. We got a patent on that. And we have a patent on how the material is put under pressure and kept under pressure and kept away from what we call the pressure source, which is very important because it makes it for a manufacturer a lot easier to clean in place, a lot simpler to clean in place. So we have many advantages over the competition that are using high pressure and high shear, and they're really, we don't consider competition those that are doing micro and macro emulsions.
Yeah, I mean, it really is fascinating, Rick. I mean, I'm very excited to see kind of where this technology goes, all the different applications. And yeah, as you mentioned, it seems like you've got a very strong team of not only, executives, but also just from the academic standpoint of different researchers and scientists. So is the main thing that investors can look forward to, at least in the short term, maybe some of these food and beverage companies coming in and joining that consortium? Or, what is your thing that you're most excited for investors to look forward to?
2021 is so different for many reasons, of course, for the pandemic and the incredible work that's done to get the vaccines available and to really end the pandemic as we knew it last year and earlier this year. It's fantastic. But on a business level, our business is night and day from last year. It was pretty frustrating. It was a bit scary last year. Our sales dropped precipitously. Our customers are a lot of laboratorians around the world, and they weren't going into the laboratory to work. This year is very different. Our first quarter numbers were publicly traded, as you mentioned. Our first quarter number was our 4th or 5th best quarter ever in 10 years or so. Our second quarter, I already gave guidance that our second quarter is going to be at least as good as the first quarter, which means it's going to be one of the top quarters. We won't be announcing, but I did give guidance to have investors expect a great second quarter. So it's wonderful to have that. Ohio State and we have announced the consortium, and we're moving the prototype there. And these guys are absolute experts when it comes to looking at emulsions. Dr. Bala, whose picture was on that screen you had just a minute ago, along with Dr. Ting, who is one of our two top, he's our head engineer, one of our 2 top technical people. These 2 guys were the pioneers in bringing high pressure, not ultra shear, but just high pressure into the food industry. It's a $14 billion industry. And in the year 2000, it didn't exist. So that, and it's growing rapidly. So imagine that just in 20 years, it's gone from nothing to over $14 billion and growing. And guacamole, shellfish, certain meats, they're being pressure treated, they're not being ultra sheared. They're not putting them through a valve, but they're being pressure treated, put in these vacuum packs and put under intense pressure to reduce the bacteria, kill a lot of bacteria, reduce the rest. And so when we're in the stores, we're buying pressure treated food already. There's juices and that you can buy out at some coffee places like Starbucks that are pressure treated. All of that reduces the bacteria so you can put in less chemicals. One of the great advantages of this is if we believe that our treatment is not only going to reduce but kill. We believe it will end up being shown that it can kill the mold, the spores, the bacteria and viruses that might be in the beverages. What that means is you won't need to add chemicals. We drink and eat too many chemicals in this world of ours. We need to reduce the amount of chemicals we're putting in for antimicrobials and other reasons. And if we can do that using Mother Nature, which is what we believe we can, we will end up with a material that will be more absorbable, more bioavailable, and it may not even have to have any. We don't expect it to have any of these chemicals that are going to be needed to keep to kill the bacteria, keep the bacteria load down. So you have all of these advantages. So well, I think you understand why we're pretty excited right now at Pressure BioSciences.
Oh, I can imagine, and I would assume that a lot of investors are excited too. And for all of you out there in Zinger Nation, if you aren't an investor, check the company out. And at least watch it, see what the company's doing, because I expect a lot of great things to come. And Rick, please join us again on the Power Hour anytime you have any, press releases, any news coming out. We'd love to have you back on. So keep us updated on the company. And yeah, I have this screen up right now that's talking about the different market opportunities. And what I really like about this is how many different opportunities there are. As you mentioned, it's not just in the CBD field. We have food applications as well. Again, thank you for joining us today, Rick, and congratulations.
We appreciate you guys at Benzinga tremendously for giving us a voice. Guys like us that are running companies that we think are future, blue chip companies, but right now we're not. We struggle a bit to find investors and to find people to support us. And investing dollars, of course, allow us to put more people on the project and get it done faster. So thank you. Keep up the good work yourself.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And like I said, congratulations again on that's really impressive with the 14-month stability, the CBD. I mean, that's just blowing everything else that's on the market out of the water, correct?
We can't find anybody that even came close to a year. They may have it, but not published, but we searched and searched and searched for the last week, and we can't find anybody. All I know is that I keep hearing that, this group has nano emulsions, this group can do this. And yet that group calls me a few days later and said, we're having problems with our CBD oils kind of precipitating out, and it's lining the side when we put it in beer, we put it into our juice, whatever. And that's because all of these things are going to have a specific level of stability. And right now, if it's not a true nano emulsion like we make, it's not going to be stable for that long. And that means it's not going to help us as we take it. It's going to precipitate out. Ours, 14 months. We can only dream, 14 months ago when we put the first samples into a long-term real-time stability, and they're not to get scientific, but people can do fast, accelerated stability and say, we can do it for a year. And they did it. It's not the same thing. It's close, but it's not the same thing when you accelerate it. But when it's real time, you put it in the refrigerator, you put it on the shelf and you leave it there. And 14 months later, you come back and you test it and it looks the same as it did when you put it there. That's pretty exciting stuff when you've got 14 months.
It really is. All right, Rick. Well, like I said, keep us in the loop. We'd love to have you back on with any developments, any new news coming out. And yeah, I'm looking at the stock right now, up 78% over the last 5 days. So congrats there as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Rick, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. I know you took time out of your busy day to join us, so we appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.
We sure will. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye now. All right, y'all. That was Pressure BioSciences, ticker PBIO. The company's CEO, Rick Schumacher. Very exciting company. A lot of interesting news coming out with that. I know that, not in my portfolio right now, but I might have to add it after today. Well, I'll check with our legal team to make sure that's, allowed first. All right. But coming up right now, we have Get Technical with Neil. I'm going to hop over there. So if you're interested in, charts, how to find breakout patterns, how to find when to enter a stock, come join us on Get Technical. Should be very exciting. We have Sylvia Bellrock joining us at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, as always, thank you for being with us today, Zinger Nation. Please smash that like, leave us a comment, and I'll see you over there on Get Technical.